Okay, ready? Okay. So first thing is to figure out what power this is a power law. Anytime it looks like a polynomial, you should recognize your cubes and your squares. This one looks like a square. You can pretty much get everything with cubes and squares. So we'll look at a cubic somewhere along the line so you can see like what a cubic looks like. But this looks like a square because it looks like a bucket that holds water. So I even know what the sign of A is. So then the form of that is y is equal to a x minus c squared plus d. So your step one is to estimate b with eyeballs. Looks like a parabola. Cubics are a little bit harder because you can get all kinds of shapes with cubics. I use cubics all the time, cubic splines to fit data. Okay, next step. You should get anywhere somewhere like this, or maybe a little bit above D, above 0. So you could get anything like around D equals 0 to D equals negative 2.83, kind of try to mess around with the range.
That's just the y value of the vertex.
Yes. So like, is that a parabola close to the ground, above the ground, or below the ground? So depending on your eyeballs, there's a little range of what you can choose. I'm just going to choose this one. You're not going to get exactly the same answer from person to person. This will be a very fun thing to grade. Okay, so that's D. Step 3. Estimate C. That's the horizontal shift. Like, where is that placed on the x-axis? So you kind of look at your thing. It's around 5-ish. Looks like it's to the right 5. Let's settle and see if those 5. And then you just have A left. Warm in here. Well, however way you understand it, you want to put that on your sheet. Like if you understand what I just told you, put down how you understood it. So I hear you guys like explaining it to each other. C and D come from the vertex. Is the elevator elevating it up or down? So it could be negative, right? So you just look at the floors. D is the number of floors that it went up or down. C is the number of sideways subway stops that you get.
Dr. Thompson, isn't like C the liar though? Like that's like the liar one.
Huh?
The C in the parentheses, isn't that like the liar? So Like if it was -5, it would be +5.
Yeah, I have it as minus in the formula, right? So the way it's in the, I'm using the formula that you guys have from the book, the supplemental materials. I don't want to deviate from that because all your questions are going to come from that form. So it's the X value where the minimum or maximum is open. So if it was on that side, the X value would be negative. Make sense? Right. So it's set up this way. I gave you a way in your sheet to estimate A using roots. I'm going to show you a quicker way to do this right now. You can take 2 points. So I'm going to pull 2 points. If you like this way, you can keep this way.
He didn't predict.
Actually, you just need one of these. You need both. You know, just pull 1 point because you only have 1 parameter left. Just solve for it. Who has their lovely government issued calculator?
Let's give it a go.
If only you had a pocket up in front, you could put it in there when you walk around. There is one?
There's a way to.
There you go, right there. You'll appear very smart when you pull out that calculator. Calculate.
2.45. 2.45, ma'am.
2.45.
What's in it there? Shouldn't be though. I don't think it's.
Questions? Did this make sense all the way through? You guys are just looking at me.
So it's only 4 steps?
Only 4 steps. Then I think I asked you a brutal question next.
Yeah, trigonometry.
No, I asked you step 2 and step 3, compute the MAD and MSE. Just so you know, we asked the program director of this course what he felt was the most important part of this block. He said calculating MAD and MSE. So guaranteed it's going to be there. All right, so it's really interesting watching. If you have your computers open, please close your computers. It's really interesting watching students who are doing well. I think a few years into my years at Montclair, we always focus on the students who don't do well, and we try to help them. But then I went to the students who did do well, and I tried to figure out what it was. Like you always hear, so and so smart. They're really smart. Like what are they doing? I think the focus of what they're doing is really important. Watching in here, the ones that are doing really well at these kind of things are really good bookkeepers. So making a little table like this and extending, I've actually watched them do this. So if you have like scratch, you said you're good at looking at scratch, this actually is what's getting them A's, knocking the problems out. So I suggest emulating who's doing well. They seem to be collectively doing it this way. So what you do is you take the first points. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I gave you a lot of points. I shouldn't have done that. And then over here you put the y values. You don't have to do this. This is already on your table, but I would just take the table that's already there and add some additional columns. The next quiz I give you, I do that. I just add additional columns with no headers on them, so you have to figure out what to put in the headers. 7. I'm just going to put that. You have all the data. Just extend the rows and then calculate here the absolute value. Compute the predicted first. So you're going to crank out the predictions for each thing. So here's the predicted values. I got 36.37, 20.67. Let me write down the details of how I got this. So you plug in 2.45 times 1 minus 5 squared minus 2.83, and that's equal to 36.37. That's the first one I got. I have a whole table. I'll show you the whole table if you want to benchmark your own calculations with it. So you're going to crank out of the formula that you just got. Final models up there. Just crank it through here and put every one of the predicted values in a column. It's all about bookkeeping. And then next step is you just calculate absolute value of actual value minus predicted value in absolute value. And so I got here 3.79 for the first one. And you do that for every single actual minus predicted as you go down. Then you square whatever this is. So squaring this got me 14.36. And then you do that for every single data point. Like so. Then you get down to the bottom. And you calculate MAD is going to be the mean value. You have 10 data points, so you're going to divide by 10. And you take every one of these column absolute errors that you got, and you just line them up as a sum. So for MAD, it is totally bookkeeping. Look at me like floundering around. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, this is right. Whatever all the rest of them are. And when you line them all up, you should get around 5.85. So take all that whole column, divide it by 10 because you have 10 data points, and then crank out the average. For MSE, you do the same thing, except you take that column, 14.36, plus all the numbers that you get in that column, and then divide that by 10. And you should get around 27.75. Wait, that's not right. Should get around 53.32. Is it clear? Paige, this is the part that was missing on your homework. Like, does it make sense now? Like, you take that, whatever formula, if it's a line, if it's a trigonometric formula, you just crank through, and that's your predictive.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions of how I got this? All right, give number 3 a shot. Use that table that I gave you with the methods on it of how to calculate things, because those are formulas. You just don't have time to think. You're just going to have to crank through formulas. You have to. This one involved a little bit of thinking on it. Vertical shift, horizontal shift, but then it went fast after that.